So what YouTube, welcome back, and today we're gonna be looking at my race in Spain. So as you can see, we get off the line okay. There's wheel spin, and then you can see that we got Bottas trying to go for the overtake, and I'm just a defensive beast, so I don't let him pass. And coming around here, let off the throttle a little bit. You don't want to go straight on. And now, coming through here on the brakes. I want to go straight on, so you gotta let off the throttle, but I run a little wide.
Good so far.
I got Bottas again on my tail, and actually no, it's my teammate now. And so yeah, so we're coming up here. Okay. Off the throttle, back on the throttle. Coming around here. Control the oversteer. Fighting the oversteer, you can see. More oversteer right there. And then we're on the straight. So now we got Max behind us because he overtook Bottas last lap. Probably gonna skip ahead because the first few laps are... Oh shoot! Oh no, that was bad. That was bad. Let's watch a replay on that. See, you can see I try to overcorrect and the snap oversteer just gets me. Don't mind the replay, guys. Okay, so now we're defending against Max. The oversteer
Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilize some of this
So
energy.
the big thing with oversteer, if you guys have seen how I drive the RB16, I guess I don't think this is a good corner. This might be. Nah, it's not. Okay. Let's wait till the next corner because I know there's oversteer on the next one. So we come down to it. You now see right there. You can see even though I'm turning left, I turn the steering wheel right to catch grip. Now, essentially, if you want to... Oh, shoot, I think Max won. But essentially what you want to do...
The track is clear. Green flag.
When you have oversteer is... So essentially what you want to do is you want to kind of go opposite to where you're turning to try and catch grip. It's a pretty common technique. The most common way to counteract oversteer. And understeer, you can't really do much about understeer. You just gotta slow down. So basically, there's two things: understeer and oversteer. Those are if you don't have traction control. Oversteer, I think, doesn't happen when you have traction control, but understeer still does. So basically, understeer is lack of grip upon exiting a corner or anywhere. I think you can see it right here.
Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the
when oversteer most commonly happens when you come out of a corner and you're like just right there, oversteer. You get on the throttle earlier than you should, and just messes up the handling. Oversteer isn't that hard to handle if you know how to handle it. Other than the the flick of the steering wheel, there's this other one I use. But like you scrub the wheels, you go side, basically just to try and find the grip. It works most of the time. You can see up oversteer right there. Understeer on the other hand happens, I guess, when you lock the brakes or you come into a corner too quickly. The car just doesn't want to turn, so you just go straight on rather than actually turning. I don't think that happens in this video though, but come down to it. Right there is the scrubber. Scrub the wheels on the track so it's fine grip. Now, because of how I'm driving, and I'm talking about that first straight, like after you come through the chicane and then you're turning right and you go into that long right-hand turn, your wheel is gonna heat up. My front left wheel heated up like insanely. You can see on the telemetry that the core, which is the interior of the tire, is 228, and if it goes above 230, it's like overly hot. But also, it's a good thing because it keeps the carcass, the outside of the tire, warm, which increases grip. And oh, we almost crashed there. Oversteer again. But you can see the tire just gets warmed up, like overly warm. I cut the corner to try and keep pace. And I'm right on his tail. DRS, I got DRS, so I'm gonna come find up beside him. And you gotta leave room. So I stick to the inside. Come around and I hold my line. Right here, this section is where the front left heats up the most because of understeer and whatnot. You'll see it's at 230 on the telemetry. So, yeah. These earlier laps, not a lot happens. I think it's later on that I actually have to like really drive, but right now we're kind of just chilling. And
we're leading our teammate by 35.0 seconds. They're on fresh hearts. They're in 19th. The time last lap was a 1 minute 20.5.
Now, previous to this, because this is the second season of my 2020 career, but it's not the first career I played. There's a different one. Anyways, previous to this, I started as a rookie for AlphaTauri. I won a race and got 2 podiums for them, and then I got 3 poles for them, which you might be saying is unrealistic. Yeah, it kind of is.
We're gonna box this lap.
But I'm just a beast like that. And then mid-season, I switched to Racing Point, and I went on an absolute dominating run. I won like 6 of the last 8 Grand Prix. Podiumed 7 or 8 times, I think. And going into the final race in Abu Dhabi, I was actually down 10 points on Valtteri Bottas. But I was able to pull out the win. I won. He finished in 8th, which meant I won the Drivers' Championship, which I was pretty glad for because it took a lot of effort. Believe it or not, even though it is just a video game. Alright, so we just pitted and we actually fell down the order.
That was our last stop.
However, because we were leading when we pitted and the other drivers followed us, when the cars that are in front of us, because we're in 10th right now, when they pit, we should go up to first. I recorded this like a week ago, so I don't really remember, but you can see I'm checking the tire temp, and I think it takes like maybe 1 or 2 laps for the core to really catch heat. And I think the reason that the core was heating up so much was because the carcass was understeering heavily, which then heated the core, convection heating or something, which then kept the core hot. And it was just a repeating process that benefited one or the other, because once the core heated, it would heat up the carcass, and then the carcass would heat up the core, and it would just be repeating. Oversteer right there. Now, I found it that the 2020 cars are much easier to control, like oversteer and whatnot, than the older cars, like the 2010, 2000, 90s. Because like driving the F10 or the MP4 28 or the RB6 is just a hassle with oversteer. Because through every corner you're fighting to try and keep the car straight, but then the car will kick out, and then it's just a bunch of different stuff.
to teammate.
Now this is my second race for Red Bull, and yep, you can see right there, I didn't let off the throttle enough, or I carried too much speed into the corner, which is why I ran wide.
Perez is behind you. Okay, the gap behind.
Now we're coming down to the end of the straight, into the, I guess, chicane. And I take way too much curb and...
What happened? Let me know you're okay.
Oh, that's not good. Anyway, so now we come down to it, and I learned from my past mistakes. So instead of keeping my wheel on the curb, I just take the full curb and kind of hook my wheel. And through here, I let up on the throttle. It's still not enough. We're still going too quick to that. So that's something. And oh, my understeer. That was not good. Coming around again. Now, if you want, holy cow, if you want like no oversteer coming out of a corner, you can't get on the throttle immediately. You kind of have to be gradual with it. Now, Senna, he had traction out of the corner because he blew up the throttle and stuff. But nowadays, the only way to really not oversteer is to be light on the throttle exiting a corner. In 2022 at the Hungarian Grand Prix, coming down to like the second to last corner, I think, after Max took the lead from Leclerc, he spun the car because he was on the throttle too early or something, but his car just did a full 360. He was like, I went on the throttle and I spun it. So you got to be careful with the throttle. That's a hot front left wheel. And oh well, there goes Perez. And we just maintain line, keep the position. We skipped a few laps, but Perez is ahead of me now, and instead of trying to lunge for it like an idiot, I guess I just waited out. And now I'm in the loser seat because I'm pretty sure, no, actually we're the second fastest, so I should be able to catch the racing point. So keep it smooth, but then right there, so if you look at the time, he's kind of pulling away, not really. I go for a lunge, I get the lunge because I'm just the best. We skip ahead again because my recording cut, I guess. This ain't too far after that overtake though. So as the wheels get worn, the oversteer gets worse. It was really apparent on the AlphaTauri. But I guess the car that I've noticed has the most oversteer, like in all of my times playing F1 games, was the Sauber in F1 2025. Because like when the wheels were like 30, 30, 40% worn, the car would start oversteering like crazy. And through every corner you'd be fighting to find the traction. Most of the time you would never find it, and I keep that under control. Okay. But you most of the time you just have to keep pushing, even though you didn't have any traction. But I did pull out a win in the Sauber on merit alone. I passed Max Verstappen for the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix. Anyways, obviously I'm the only person that's lunging for it out of everybody. I don't think anybody else does those overtakes like me. But keeping it smooth. Take too much curb, that almost makes the rear loose. Oversteer. Come through now. Okay. So even though Perez is 7/10 back, he's going to be able to close that gap as we come down the chicane. Maybe not actually. No, never mind. He's closing it. Only about 0.2 though, so I'm still in the clear. Now the only person I'm worried about is not Perez, because I know I can beat him. Well, now we go off. The only person I'm worried about is Bottas, because he's in the Mercedes, and the Mercedes is quicker than the Red Bull. Trying to keep it on the track. What are we doing, Sergio? Sergio hits me, I pass him. And Bottas is in front of Perez now, so now I've got even somebody worse to look out for. Because Perez, he's driving the Racing Point. I outperformed him last season. I scored more points than him in half a season than he did in the entire season. So Bottas, there's contact. So it's coming down to the last 3 laps. It gets pretty difficult here because the car just does not have the grip, and when it does have the grip, it's too much grip, and I understeering. It's just a whole lot of stuff. The understeer, see right there, oversteer. Understeer is most notably seen in that fast right-hander, and then that right-hander after faster right. What? After the fast right-hander, and maybe coming up onto the straight. Well, I'll point out the section. Understeer is seen right here, like worse, but you know, I figured it out this lap, finally, after 4 laps.
2 laps of fuel remaining.
And now coming up here, understeer also seen at the exit of this turn, where I go into the grass right here, and I don't control it. We exit the turn now, and Bottas is only like 3 tenths behind, 5 tenths now, but he's closing the gap always. Was that? There's no way. Wait. So I thought that core temp was 252. It was just 232, so it's nothing serious. Anyways, oh yeah, over here you can also see understeer entering that corner. Heavy understeer over here because of how I get on the throttle. You can see I get almost full throttle exiting the corner. Not what you want to do, but you know, it's what I got to do to stay ahead of them. Understeer in this corner as well. Just a whole lot of understeer sections. Oversteer up in this corner, hop the curb, also hop that curb, understeer, a little understeer in this section, but that's only if your tires are really worn.
This is your final lap.
And we go on to the final lap. Bottas is lunging for it. I leave him the space, but he falls back. Again, we come through here. Can I keep it correct? No, I can't. Yes, I can. All right, now we go flying down to it. Bottas trying to lunge on me. I close the door just in time. Up the gears we go. Down into the left-hander. I leave the door closed. Don't let him in. Down the straight. Understeer section right here. But I keep it under control. No oversteer, no nothing. Up through here, understeer. Keep it on the track. No oversteer. No nothing. Through into this corner. Oversteer as expected. Coming up now. This is the section I was most worried about, because I just leave that door wide open, but Bottas doesn't have the speed to catch it. I hop the curbish. Come around again. Hop the curbish. Control the oversteer. And I think it was pretty obvious from the start, but I won the race.
That's a race win.
Pretty easy. If you guys like that video, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and suggest other games I should play. Okay, bye.